Alright. That looks relatively stable. Welcome to what is going to be the final Warhammer 40k Mechanicus stream, because we're basically out of missions to do. I am Vincent, playing Warhammer 40k Mechanicus as usual.
I am the Krampus.
I'm Shiv.
I'm under green.
And I'm Vincent, also playing Warhammer 40k Mechanicus as usual.
Something about that statement is different than normal.
I don't know what you're talking about, and neither do I. Hey guys, we're going to do Videx. We're going to do Videx, then we're going to do the final boss, and if we get Videx's ending, we're going to reload to a save where we haven't done Videx, and then do the final boss. Yeah, do your stuff. Alright.
Willie?
Into the breach. Alright. Well, we got one option to start. Immortal, Devastator, Immortal, Spider. Alright. That looks about right. Shield thing. Alright, charging laser, got it. need to kill that immortal.
Yes, Iratus Dogmatus 21-6. Fuck that one in particular. And lo, was that one man snuffed out. What was some fetch the Book of Armaments shit with Brother Videx?
Salt for good ornaments.
Of him, it makes sense.
Three is the number of the counting, and the number of the counting shall be 3.
No more, no less.
4 is too much. 5 is right out.
Powerful radiation flares from the shield generators and the reactors beyond are interfering with communications and our tech priest's augmentations. Do we implore? Stave off this invisible threat with prayer. Inject. Remotely activate the mega dosing capacity of the cohort's stim injectors, flooding their system with rad cleansing drugs. Or improvise. Recalibrate the cohort's rad cleansers to purge the radiation more thoroughly at the risk of burning them out.
Purge. I'm going with improvise.
I actually say inject.
I agree. Give us the good drugs.
So inject.
Let's inject.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Ow.
Well, you did inject a bunch of drugs in them.
Yep.
Hey, we got 4 cognition and some
Blackstone.
stuff.
Yeah. All right.
There's a little prick from the needles, and then bam, Blackstone just started pouring out of our guys. We should do drugs more often.
I actually know this one. Not the quote, Malkador is Malkador the Sigillite. He's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malkador the very, very smart.
Ahead stands a monument to Nephthys' genius as Grand Architect, a sculpture of a fanciful city of towering spires and brutal fortifications, a hideous vision of a Necron fortress colony. Do we decode, say the sculpture in case it encompasses some valuable meaning? Deliver, try to recover whatever valuable materials can be found in the sculpture, or demolish, destroy this obscene work of the enemy.
I have to imagine if we weren't here making the choices, that Videk would actually produce like a very tiny hammer, like a comically small hammer, and just start smashing away at the thing bit by bit.
I am actually torn on this one. There are 2 good choices there.
Well, I'm going to be consistent with our earlier choices. We have been destroying their little tiny models. So I'm going to say demolish.
Shiv?
Yeah, demolish.
Okay. More out.
Yeah, I was thinking possibly deliver because I do like looting.
Ah, his miniature has working guns.
They've learned.
Learned
Oh, that's
nothing.
fantastic.
Learned nothing. It was just trying to be really realistic with this one.
Oh, in other words, nerds.
All right. Murdercade. I got a wall between me and you're way over here. Okay, oh, wait a minute. There's a Praetorian. Awesome, 2 things in the back, so I can actually reset this back to 0. Okay. Oh, my most damaged one is the healer anyways. You are all energy resistant. Start with that. Board is energy resistant. Got it. find where you are. Okay. The spider's lost and alive. Okay. Or the spider's still alive. Rather. Also, I need to break those things. That's not the wrong guy. Yeah, I did. Alright, that'll handle him.
Yeah, you're funny.
Yep. Ah,
Oh, hey.
yeah.
Oh,
Damage. Night sight.
Yeah, looks like it. Neat little decoration. I don't think we've seen that before, actually.
I don't think
pretty
so
sure
either.
it's
They've
the
been
first one.
very
Observation.
generic about their tile sets, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is like every single mission is also taking place inside the tomb.
It's a little bit...
So
Yeah. Every single mission is taken inside the tomb. This wasn't exactly the highest budget game in the first place.
Yeah, like you're not really having, outside areas where it would make sense for a night site to pop up. Similarly, we haven't seen like the big, like we haven't seen a monolith. We haven't seen some of the bigger canoptic constructs. Could be stuff that shows up in the next game, though.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're going to be much more ambitious with it, doing 2 campaigns.
Doing 2 campaigns in general, this one did well and is highly regarded.
Speaking of which, the Steam sale is on now.
Yep.
If you have not picked Mechanicus up, it's a good time. I think it's like 60% off or something.
Hey.
60 or 70. There's also another Warhammer game that I'm looking to try. It's been out forever. I just have not really touched it because there's been other Warhammer games I'm more interested in, but Inquisitor.
Has Inquisitor been out that long? No, Rogue Trader's relatively recent.
Rogue Trader's the one you're thinking of. Inquisitor is the Diablo style.
Yeah.
Which has a bunch of expansion stuff for it. It usually goes on pretty deep discount during the Steam sale.
A transmission from somewhere in the tomb of Neftusk is blaring blasphemous code bursts into the cohort's communicators. If left unexamined, it may disrupt the communications and erode the capacity of the cohort to operate effectively. It's really just an old Necron sitcom. So do we hear no evil, ignore it for learning its secrets may be more dangerous than letting it continue. Decode the transmission. Record the transmission and decode it with the Castus Metallicans cogitators. They actually pronounced it last time. Or respond in kind. Respond with a maximum volume encoded prayer burst of our own.
Clearly, we respond in kind.
Until you said the last one, I was like, "Oh, we'll decode the signal." And it's no, we got to blare our own music. Clearly, that's the right.
Beep boop, we are robots. That's all.
Yep.
I tricked Lucy into becoming an immortal is kind of falling off in its 5th season. The Catan shard Ricky.
That's a lot of glyphs. Alright. That doesn't do us any good. That's a -1. That's probably the one we're going with. Yeah, that one. More money. Alright, at the end of this mission. What do we have to punch? Alright. So we need to make sure this number does not get to... Actually, it doesn't matter because we just get to fight the final boss. Or we're just forced into the final encounter when the thing gets to 100.
Yeah.
Yep, Necron Lord. Scanner destroy, and by that we mean kill the Necron Lord. Or kill the everything. Nothing back there. Alright, so the person who gets the first turn is basically going to scan or destroy all 4 of these. That I mean is going to scan all 4 of these, but... right. Alright, what's our real goal? More stuff emerges. Kill all enemies. Escape!
Escape.
Are you fucking kidding me?
So just run all the way back to the entrance and you're done?
No. I need to break one of these.
Why so?
So the time is below 1. I don't need
Are
to...
we
yes.
at 99%? I mean, also, even
Okay,
if we
sorry.
are, it doesn't
We
matter.
don't need to break one of these. I want to break one of these.
Okay, that's more fair.
There's zero concern.
You're technically correct. I'm breaking them anyways. Alright, good job.
You shall never destroy us, you primitive... Wait, what are you doing? That's my computer!
Alright. Generators are protected by an energy shield of their own, preventing direct access to them. This will have to be bypassed or deactivated if the demolition team is to fulfill their mission later. Alright, so do we intellect, use the cohort's tech skills to rewrite and short out the alien device, a difficult task, but one which will yield the best results. Intensity, try to destroy the energy shield with the brute force of massed firepower, Or improvisation. Use the cohort's tech skills to overload the device, a crude and dangerous solution, but one that does not require great finesse.
Improvisation.
I also say improvisation.
All right. More surprised this worked.
The Necron Lord is still just kind of stunned, like, what the fuck just happened? They just ran in and they shut off the generators. They didn't even fight me.
The Generatorium's primary shield generator is captured and deactivated. The vast reactor cylinders beyond arc with power and are full of enough raw energy to obliterate the entire Tomb Valley. A penetrating orbital bombardment can surely cause the apocalyptic chain reaction Videx desires.
Scaevola strutting around the ship. Ah, finally, at last, we shall have access to a massed, unblemished xenotech. About that.
It's fine, we still have the library.
Query fetch value, what have you done?
Alright. So now we have that saved to load just in case. And the final mission. Overlord Zaragon. Find and eliminate that guy in particular.
This guy has been especially naughty. Destroy him.
Oh, not sure what else I want to take. With no review. Oh.
At least that little thing sounds like we're going with Videxes.
Possibly, possibly not. That was more just about killing this one guy, Zaragon.
Yeah.
Twilight of the Gods. I'll remind you at most you get like 33 beforehand. Before the expansion. We're on 58.
Yeah.
Ah.
Alright, so minus cognition is the bottom one. Top one is... basically nothing. Plus 3 cognition is a consolation prowess. The magnificence of the Tomb of Zaragon reaches a crescendo in this chamber, where the walls are encrusted with statues of Necron lords, each with eyes glowing with some inner power. Concentric rings of hieroglyphics cover the floor. Dewey, search. Examine the chamber for useful resources or intelligence. Smash. Do as much damage to the chamber as possible. The Necron monuments themselves must be toppled. Sanctify. Pray here to counteract the unholiness of such alien splendor.
We've been smashing all game. It's not like I'm going to stop now.
Yeah. It's not unknown. We know what it is. And aha, they've anticipated us and they've set up force repulsor fields or some kind.
I've
I knew
seen
you were
what
going to try
you've
and
been doing.
smash up I knew you were going to try and smash up my statues.
Maybe. You know what? Fair, but also back at you.
The words of Lord Zaragon transmit to every soul in and around his tomb intrusive thoughts that seem to originate from the thinker's own brain. So, Dewey, steadfastness, our resilience in the face of constant threats of extinction, piety, our unshakable piety and faith, ambition, the determination to conquer the stars.
Well, as always, we pray only when it's most convenient to us. So, I choose piety.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Not gonna lie, I kind of agree.
Okay, you complaining about corpses on thrones is really throwing stones at glass houses here.
Yeah, like I said, I
I'm
agree,
a corpse,
but at the
I'm made
same
of
time,
glorious metal.
back at you.
The image of Overlord Zaragon looms huge in the noosphere, as if his physical form has a corresponding information halo that infects the very information in the air. The dread and disorientation this causes threatens to degrade the cohort's battlefield effectiveness. Do we sacrifice? Have the cohort enact a painful self-flagellation ritual to purify their minds through pain. Sacredness. Have the whole cohort perform a prayer session to steel their minds against Zaragon's presence. Or Scorn. Counter Zaragon's appearance with data prayers broadcast into the local noosphere.
That's Scorn.
Yeah, I think faith alone's not going to be enough. Faith directly targeted at something may be better. I agree with Scorn.
Oh, thank God, not more damage. I fear having people defeated before I get to the boss.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Everyone's pretty okay.
Yeah, we have like one person damaged.
One guy's damaged, and everybody's got healing stuff.
I'm fairly certain none of this is going to add awakening to the meter, because that would be pointless.
For such a young and insignificant race, like insects with pretensions to build palaces from dirt. What do you think you will do with your weak, fleshly bodies and your fanatical devotion to gods that never were? What do you imagine you will make of this galaxy?
I don't know, how did worshipping real gods work out for you?
Yeah, gods that never were are vastly preferable to pretty much all the gods in this universe. The voice of Overlord Zargum booms with every voxcaster and comm link in the tomb, creating a deafening crescendo that is nonetheless undistorted and clear. Do we dominance, we will exterminate all Xenos and rule as the sole lords of the galaxy. Destiny, we will build an imperium that will never fall. Or perfection, we will advance the human race to a species as perfect as the machine.
I feel like that last one is the real Adeptus Mechanicus answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So perfection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know of the machine? Your terror of innovation has left you enthralled to decay and ignorance.
Not all of them.
The rusted hulk of Mars is a monument not to the machine, but to your own slow death. The Necrons have attained the perfection you seek, and will ascend to heights still greater when you have all died out.
Oh, okay, I guess I was wrong. Sure, you could have the +3 awakened, I give 0 fucks. Technically, it hitting 3. It does actually do something, because there are negative effects, but...
Yeah.
Like, this was a long journey in the first place. Yeah, they'll reanimate a turn faster. I don't think that's going to matter.
Magos Fastius, I see you cannot come in person. No matter. When your pawns are dead, I shall deal with you next. Nothing is beyond my reach. Certainly not you. I will show you what it means to know fear, and stare your annihilation in the eye.
Please let this be break one panel and escape.
It's eliminated Zaragon. It's as amusing as that was.
Hey, eliminate one panel, escape, and then the tomb falls down around him.
Fancy. Kill Zaragon. You know, fucking obviously.
So we've got.
We have Zaragon. That's what.
We got Zargon. Zargon and a bunch of caskets.
We would have every boss we hadn't beaten yet as well.
But we beat them all.
Right.
Now, mind you, we're starting with 2 of his turns.
One of them is almost certainly going to be something that activates the caskets.
Yeah, probably, maybe. I don't know. He will do something special. And I don't have enough cognition to summon anyone else, so...
Your fate was decided thousands of years ago, yet still you fight. What fury there is in your ignorance.
Oh. Okay, he did not come to play.
Is this how you hope to destroy us, Arstinius? With tricks and crickets?
Ow.
Cute. Alright.
Okay, so he's just going to be a super prick. Got it. Super prick with what looks like an AoE attack.
It does have a big old void sight, so.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
This room is full of cognition, he only has 99 health. So about that damage you did.
Rude.
No. Oh.
I'm surprised that moved you. it's over there. Okay. Weird that's showing a target. Seeing as I don't feel like... Yeah, damaging my own guys pretty significantly. Alright, part 2. Come on. Nope, that was it.
Really?
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What the? Okay.
Much like the Catan. Just slap and move on.
Overlord Zaragon collapses, raw data spilling from his ruptured war form. The information howl that goes up from the tombs of Silva Tenebris is an awful death wail of utter abandonment. Many reports from the planet are mentioning Necron squads are locking down into guard protocols that make little strategic sense. It appears they are not able to think on their own. Zaragon and his lords must have been delegating orders all this time. Ah, okay.
of Silva Tenebris was too much to ignore. Acquisitor Scaevola took all she could fit into her internal data stores, and already spoke of astonishing weapons technology to be turned against our enemies. She did not remain on Silva Tenebris long. She left for Mars, taking her new learning with her, babbling on about reporting
No.
Incinerate cabals from across the Imperium make their way to Silver Tenebris, drawn by the reports of Maelor's library and the knowledge still contained within.
Yeah, good.
They will mine this world for its data until there is nothing left to learn. For good or ill, the secrets of the Necrons are ours, and the Adeptus Mechanicus will be changed forever.
Okay. Credits.
Okay, and that was Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus,
Yep.
Uh-huh.
which ended with a very confused old man getting beaten to death in his own bedroom.
Also, we're already through the credits.
Yep.
Okay. So, thoughts on Mechanicus. I have opinions.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so Warhammer 40k Mechanicus is a great turn-based combat system and campaign system. I don't think they quite knew what to do with. They got the foundations of this game down pat. The building up of your tech priests, the deploying of units, the mission stuff, and the minute-to-minute combat is fine. It's great. They never really pushed anything. I mean, I know we have the DLC, and I know that we're more powerful than a group originally would be in the original game.
I would say the difficulty started to probably drop off about 30-ish or so missions in, which is about where the original game stops anyways.
Yeah.
So
but even at that 30 level, I think this would not have been a terribly hard fight. Beating all of the guys and then...
No, but there was definitely more challenge early on. And in fairness, I did just go with, I believe it is... Go to new game. Yeah, I did just go with normal.
True. Yeah, we didn't push this game to its fullest. We could have gone hard mode. We could have done permadeath and Iron Man, the usual strategy, tactical game kind of things. And we were 20 plus missions past where the game would have ended.
Yeah.
That being said, even apart from the challenge, they didn't really do anything novel. They occasionally had us walk up a spiral-shaped map or something, or occasionally made moving platforms and stuff, but they never really did anything novel or unique with the bosses. They were just hit point sponges.
Mostly the bosses were hit point sponges. Yeah, even the more elaborate one, the one that had the shields, it was still basically break all the shields. To some extent, I'm fine with that, though. We stretched this game on further than it was originally supposed to go by almost double, or somewhere close to that at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's also a bunch of other things we can change. Max mechanicals per mission. Blackstone revenue modifiers. Like pointing in the negatives would actually decently increase. Starting in Blackstone. Disabling AoE weapons doesn't really do too much with how I was playing, but AoE weapons actually can get pretty ridiculous if you were using the ones that I wasn't using, just because they have a high cogitation cost, but they can, sometimes just one-shot entire maps. Available weapons. Enable glyph events, enable narrative events. Enhanced exploration is a good question as to what this is. Equip once per TP. But yeah, from the view of someone playing this in general, I found this game actually to be fairly great, honestly, as far as strategy RPGs go, or turn-based strategy, anyways. Again, the difficulty does very much drop off towards the end with everything built up. That's just the hard mode stuff. But yeah. What I did like is, or one of the other things I do like is how episodic the plot was, in general. Where I didn't really feel obligated to stick to one path or another, because basically whatever happened within each mission was basically somewhat self-contained. Meaning that I wasn't really, like, locked onto the track of do everything for this one person or be forcefully stopped from doing anything for this one person. I could just go where I want, and I didn't really have to remember too much of what the hell happened previously.
Yeah.
Furthermore, this is actually probably the one medium that does the most exploration of various archetypes within the Adeptus Mechanicus, because most of the time, anything 40k wise, you have a tech priest, and they are the tech priest with the tech priest personality.
Yeah, that's the thing, is this game has done more for expanding the feel of how the Adeptus Mechanicus works internally than almost anything else. Apart from some, like, fluff in the Adeptus Mechanicus codex itself.
The quickly vanishing codex fluff from...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, you have a decent cast of characters. Okay, I'm gonna have to actually load, I think. Ah, this is literally,
Yeah, it's literally in mission. He's right there.
Yeah, because it's the autosaves. There we go. But yeah, in general, you have, like, the stoic captain that can't really lean too much in either of these directions for simple reason of you can go down really either path. The Zenorite, which is more or less the radical, the puritanical, the Skitarii-oriented ones. I forget what you were. The guy who delves too deep and too greedily into secrets he should not know.
Yeah.
Also, nice range of the... it has a nice range of their Skitarii troops as well. And the DLC added the Castellan.
Yeah. Yeah,
And the
having the Sicarian Mustalkers for melee, and you have the Cataphren and
Yeah.
Rock'em Sock'em Robot, whose name eludes me at the moment.
The Castellan.
Castellan Robots.
Castellan robots, yeah.
Yeah. As well as the more generic stuff, the Skitarii, range and melee, the Servitor, always a classic, and even more Skitarii. And the other thing about this game, the high customization of the Tech Priest was actually very nice. We, towards the end, basically slammed up against the wall of the customization, but just being able to literally equip each slot and have, like, your actions kind of based on everything you have equipped. The action economy in this game is quite insane per Tech Priest. Probably,
Yeah.
if anything, too generous, as a matter of fact, because every single thing you equip is an action. In addition to movement, which you can take almost as much as you're willing to spend cognition for. Which, towards the beginning of the game, cognition is not that easy to come by. Towards the end of the game, cognition might as well be near fucking infinite. Which is the other thing, which is the main thing that was tanking the difficulty as well, by the way. Just, I did not have to pay attention to cognition that much, because I had a million ways of getting it. These are probably the worst offenders, the Cognition Mechadendrite, because it's just like anything I get into melee with, which is basically everything, I could just collect 3 to 6 Cognition depending on how many I feel like having equipped. The other thing is being able to, whereas I did actually go down one of each of these 6 paths, because the Zenerite one sucks past the first point, really. Being able to basically, I mean, in all seriousness, it was, unless I was the specialist in this path, 3 down this path, 3 down this path, then like the first of that one, the first of this one, and everything else was whatever the hell I felt like doing. But a lot of the characters got very samey in build, just because like some of the most powerful things are at like the lower tiers.
Yeah.
So even building all the way down and grabbing like one thing, it's as levels just got on, you got to spread out. I think one of the options, it might have been in the next menu, because I think there was actually 2 menus now that I think about it, of options, was one that actually forces you to go all the way down a tree before going to another tree, and you have to finish that tree as well. Which is a little bit better about pigeonholing stuff in, but again, the game went on so long that it's just basically like, I could still basically do so. If anything, that would have actually reduced build variety, because I would have just gone all the way down like Engine Seer or something, and then done something else. And yeah, the Engine Seer mostly didn't use his skills for the entirety of the game, because everyone just had like 2 HP of regeneration, and then there were the Canticle that could just regenerate all the hit points. But again, early on, it was useful, but it was by no means the only thing I had to use for HP regeneration. Early on, I was actually using more HP regen and the HP regen Mechadendrites, etc.
Yeah.
But, yeah, towards the end of the game, all of that kind of gets blurred for, is it my turn to just murder everything on the board yet?
Or
Because it was very hard for me not to one-turn the entire board. Which itself is a nice and fine, thing to do for a few missions, but it just kind of went on for, like, a good, like, 15 or so missions, past when... yeah, if I wasn't trying to play the whole thing for the stream, and if it wasn't for all the actual, like, flavor and plot going on in the missions, the sitcomish plot, but plot nonetheless, going on in the missions, and kind of the entertaining dialogue, which is the other thing, the dialogue is actually pretty well written between the characters when they have it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it wasn't for all that stuff, I probably would have just finished this a while ago. Just either ran through all the bosses and maybe done the DLC stuff, or something to that effect at least. Because, like, I built to the point where the power I had on the board was just basically trivializing the anything they tried to throw at me as challenge. Like, the only boards that didn't get one turned were the ones that had, like, the gates that literally I could not move past or shoot past. That are time locked between
like,
turns.
I have to wait a turn for this, wall to open up, or I have to wait a turn for this elevator to appear.
Yeah. But yeah, that's more me complaining about me playing this game for way longer than it was probably ever meant to be played in the first place, on a normal difficulty where I could actually turn up the difficulty, and it would probably keep the challenge up for a bit longer at the very least. But yeah, in general, when this game is on, when you're actually when it is actually challenging, and when you have all the options in front of you, it is good. It is a solid strategy RPG.
Yeah, this is one of the better 40K games in general.
Yeah.
In a series that already has a good track record, for the most part, for good game adaptations. This one stands out as one of the high watermarks.
Which is even more impressive considering this is a very obviously limited budget game in comparison to anything THQ ever did. THQ Nordic, or is it THQ in general?
T-
Yep.
Relic had the license for a while. THQ.
Or was it Relic? Okay. But yeah,
Just because you had bigger budgets doesn't necessarily mean they were better games.
no, not per se, but it does help with certain things at the very least. I mean, they did a lot with the money they had. That's for sure. Because it's pretty obvious to see where they were basically cutting corners and making things pretty flat. As was mentioned, the tile sets are pretty much the same between every single tomb here or there. There's a bit of flavor, like when you were ever in the parts of the tomb with the guy who was succumbing to the flayer virus, there'd be flayed ones and various fleshy bits lying around. But yeah, there were a lot of recycled pictures. The voice acting for the tech priests were all basically mumbles because they appear a lot and voice actors are expensive. But at the same time, the mumbles also make kind of sense for a tech priest. But yeah, in general, the game still looks solid and its flavor is really good. Oh yeah, and that soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
It certainly is a soundtrack.
They confirmed they got that guy back for the second game, so...
Yeah. This is... yeah. No, the soundtrack is absolutely great atmosphere for what this game is supposed to be. And if this sounds familiar, and you watch 40k lore videos, yeah, that's not a coincidence.
Everyone uses it.
Yeah. Everyone uses this whenever the Mechanicus comes up, or the Ecclesiarchy, or I don't know, anything vaguely religious, really. Or just in general when they need to fill background noise. But beyond that, anyone else have any more thoughts?
No, I look forward to us doing the sequel when it comes out, because what little scant information we have on it looked good.
Yeah. It does look like they're doing some major revisions to the system. Or scrapping the system and building a new one. I'm not entirely sure, actually. Outright.
It looks like the basic system is in place. They still have cognition. They still have choices at junctions like we were doing.
Yeah.
The big thing is that it looks like they're going to be doing a cover system for the Adeptus Mechanicus. The Necron specifically cannot use cover, but they can destroy cover.
Yeah. Which is a interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely cover in this game, and it did matter a bit more earlier. Again, it mattered more earlier on, less when we were just kind of walking across the board and murdering everything in our wake. But
yeah, I think the implication they're going to do more like actual take cover mechanics as opposed to just like there's a pillar in between me and this enemy, so they cannot shoot me.
Yeah.
And more like an actual like, oh, there's a stereotypical video game chest high wall I can stand behind to get cover.
Yeah, they actually have it in one of the screenshots that they have of the game, one of the few screenshots we have, of like a tech priest hiding behind cover.
I think also in one of those screenshots it actually was like, we're going to actually have named characters on the board for once and not just like, here's tech priests.
Yeah.
Yes, so you have a campaign map over whatever world we're going to be on. And it looks like the various members of our bridge crew are back. Scaevola and
Scaevola is like the main character again.
You mean Faustinius?
Or no, not Scaevola, Festinius, sorry.
Yeah.
Faustinius is the main character. He's specifically been called back in because he's become an expert on killing Necrons, according to the blurb we got.
Well, that makes sense.
And Scaevola, Kepra, and Captrix. Scaevola and Captrix are seen on the actual screen, and Kepra is mentioned as being under attack. So at the very least, they'll be in facilities you have to defend. My belief based on this is that they're actually going to be leading units of tech priests.
Which would make sense.
Or other units.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me if this time we just got a more standard campaign style where you can requisition Skaven, or not Skaven, Scutari, or requisition Electro Priests or something.
Yeah.
Put them together in a unit, give them to one of your bridge crew, and have them go do something.
Something else I'd also be interested in is not just having like generic tech priest with disciplines, but something a little bit more elaborate, like actually having like engine seers or Lex mechanics with their completely separate, or instead of just being a generic tech priest and we have these trees, it is you're an engine seer and here's all of your engine seer talents you can pick from and have trees. Basically more elaborate.
You're an Archmagos. You're a
Techno-archaeologists.
techno-archaeologist, etc.
A biologist.
Yeah,
Biologist
have
would
the
actually be very
dominant
interesting.
engines here. The things that are all listed there.
Yeah, basically. Things are all listed here, and more, because there is actually more. Again, like, biologists would be a completely different one, for example.
Yeah.
Also, other things in general from the Codex as troops, as mentioned, like the Electro Priest, for example.
Yeah. Electro Priests, they end up doing bigger, wider maps. You can incorporate stuff like dune crawlers.
The Scutari with Da Vinci fly wings and the Scutari on stilts.
Yeah.
It's Direxi, I believe their name is.
Yeah. The flying units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would honestly like to see a bit more like combined arms of, rather than being a team of like you have 6 tech priests and then can summon on like various support units.
Yeah.
Sakari, just have them be regular units you field.
Yeah.
So you field like X number of hero units and X number of support units, and that's just what you field. You don't have to summon them on the battle bench thing. They're just your usual deployment.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't see as much use towards the end, even though they were actually good, mostly because it's like, I started this battle with 0 cognition, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, they were pretty solid, and if I actually just had... If I'd opened up enough slots early enough and had just had multiple characters go down the trooper line, they could get pretty freaking crazy pretty quick, because when you have multiple people summoning them, and even the people who don't go down that line completely, the where is it? Yeah, the attack one is just at 3, and that's just like,
yeah, everyone attacks.
Yeah, everyone attacks that guy. That guy is very dead. When you start having like 2 or 3 different troops attack them, especially when the troops are something like this guy who auto crits, so he's doing at minimum 4 damage and probably more because you can also enhance him from just the earlier thing in the tree that adds like +1 damage, or that's a 4 to 6. These guys are big chonkers for damage. And granted, the attack that guy doesn't turns off the AoE part, but that's kind of a positive as well, considering like sometimes you don't want an explosion. Cones are a little bit more controllable, but sometimes you don't want an explosion.
Right. There were more than a few times where I saw that indicator come up with like, oh, you're going to shoot this guy, and you're going to shoot 3 of your friends.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. A good portion of the time. Other than that, there are a lot of weapons I did not use, but it doesn't mean they're bad in the least. Like this thing is, yeah, straight line that just does damage to everything in that line, for example. Single target that blows up into a circle that doesn't need line of sight and does its full damage to everything. It costs 5 to fire, but there's a reason it costs 5 to fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The melee weapons, there wasn't really much variety. I would like to see more variety in general for that.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing when you only have the tech priests. The tech priests really only get either spiky mechadendrites that they attack the enemy with, or look at our big ass axes.
Yeah. You could stretch a little bit more into other parts of the Imperium in order to come up with more weapons in general, and just put a tech priest spin on it.
You could, but at the same time, like, they were going specifically for the Adeptus Mechanicus aesthetic, and an Adeptus Mechanicus is not going to hold a chainsword. Their spindly little arms ain't going to have that. The chainswords would be built into their arms or something. I could see them doing it that way. Like, I have replaced my arm with a chainsaw.
That's effective.
As one does.
Yeah, that's effectively what this one is. The third Infestus Mechadendrite. Because that is more or less a chainsaw on that one. Yeah, because it goes from, like, Pokebit into Buzzsaw into Chainsaw. Which I also found kind of neat, is the evolving art rather than just being like, it's this thing, but better.
Yeah.
Which is hard to get right, because sometimes you won't actually be able to recognize it, but like the cognition one, for example, is always this pointy spike, so it was easy enough to go like, okay, that one into that one into that one. This is the one I think they took the most artistic liberties with. Actually the Curios, because I think it was like, no, it's Curio Claw. Yeah, all the Curio Claws are fine. That's the rank 2. Where is... Okay, yeah, so it goes from that into that into that. Yeah, so the Curio Mechadendrites are vaguely similar, but apart a lot. But yeah, axes tend to be the thing they're most known for, but I still would like to see like a bit more variety anyways.
Yeah. And to be fair, in the next game, if they do expand the units like we think they're going to, like I hope they're going to, you will see more stuff. You'll get to see like taser guns.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, well, we do have. I almost never use them, but we do actually have melee units that have like this. This guy has the taser.
Yeah.
Alpha. And the Skotari Ranger here has a melee weapon of some sort. Yeah, and the Rust Stalker has like a couple of sword thing. Or a sword thing.
Well, I think one of them always crits.
Yeah, that's the rain. Well, that was the gun. The gun always crits.
Oh, the gun always crits.
Yeah. Which is why the energy damage doesn't matter, because crits ignore armor.
Yeah.
That being the other thing, the armor mechanic is interesting. Basically the dual armor mechanic that says, hey, dumbass, diversify your weapons, don't try to focus on one or the other. Or you're going to have a bad time when you run into something that actually has like a good amount of energy or physical armor.
Yeah.
My only complaint with that is there was one ranged physical weapon and like there was one ranged physical weapon, so there wasn't really much upgrades for that past getting it in the first place. It's a fairly low weapon. With the macro stubber. And there were no energy melee weapons. And in truth, if I was just going for a solid gun, the Gauss Gamma basically was what I put on most characters because it ignores the entire mechanic. So
I'm surprised they didn't do a gun that has no cooldown, just has cognition cost.
Oh, just pure cognition cost, but no cooldown.
Yeah, no cooldown. It's like they can only do like 1 to 3 damage or something, so it doesn't do a ton of damage. But you would spam cognition into it.
That would be interesting. Yeah, it does have to do an incredibly low amount of damage, because like incredibly low amount of damage, and they'd probably be best off making it untyped because no, you could probably get away with it being typed, but. Yeah, because I think at most you get like because there's gloves that are a flat +1. for physical and energy, but I don't think that would probably change much. But yeah, something that you could actually use to like burn cognition to kill something could be interesting in general. That being the other thing, cognition is a really interesting mechanic and kind of unique. It's more because of just how it's collected than anything else, where there's cognition on the map that comes from these various sources, as well as, and you're kind of rewarded for standing next to them at the end of the round because you immediately get them at the start again. And killing things basically gives you a bit more cognition, but it's going to cost you cognition to kill them anyway, so it's not really as big a mechanic. Necron reanimation as well, again, until it didn't matter at the end of the game at all, because like everything was dead and we didn't have to really pay attention to when they were reanimating. But like earlier on, actually having to give them the extra poke to kill them, that was legit. That was kind of a nice and interesting mechanic as well. Even if it's used on probably a bit more troops than I'd want it to be, but at the same time, we're fighting Necrons. What do you want? Most of the Necrons reanimate.
Yeah.
The only things that don't are the Canoptex, basically. So unless they were throwing more Canoptex at me, which is not really their fodder that much.
No.
But yeah, it's also what made Mechadendrites probably more useful early on, although they still had some use later, just simply because this does 3 damage, so if they don't have any armor, it can still do some amount of fixed damage, so it's basically an extra, like, weaker attack. Yeah, the bigger issue is just later on, cognition. It'd almost be better if they split cognition into 2 different resources, where one actually fuels the attacks and the other fuels, like, your action economy. Because it kind of does both, or kind of does a weird double duty of that. And oh god, are tech priests fast, because the cost for cognition and movement is basically nothing. Granted, this is not helped by, like, they're not actually that fast early on, but when you have, like, these boosts of +3 movement, and this one of +3 movement and avoid all opportunity attacks, suddenly I have, like, I think double your starting movement, and you ignore opportunity attacks. And you reveal the stats of everyone you walk by, which in of itself was also its own action with the servo skull beforehand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a bit of that. But that is kind of what makes this game interesting, is just how much stuff is actually going on, and how many systems are actually kind of unique to it, which is kind of refreshing, because a lot of strategy RPGs follow a lot of cookie cutter formulas here and there. So having anything that is kind of unique and interesting and kind of holds up well enough, at least for a decent chunk of it, is just nice to have. And yeah, I could probably keep going on the game theory of this game in general, because there's just a lot that's just different and hasn't really been done much before.
Yeah, we've poked fun at it a little bit, but at its core, it's really, like I said initially, it's really well held together. It doesn't do a lot with the framework it's built, but the framework it's built is great.
Yeah. And as a first in the series and as exploring new ground, I'm kind of fine with that.
Yeah.
Like, I want the sequel to do more things, especially when it comes to mission design. Because as said, there's basically like 3 or 4 different goals.
Yeah, but they have space to expand.
Yeah, they do. They definitely have space to expand. Yes. As for this team in general, this was actually, I think, their first project.
No, they made one before that, but it was a city builder
That's right.
space
That
station
one.
simulation game called Ixion.
Yeah. Ixion... Actually, no. Ixion they did later. Ixion Ixion they released 4 years later.
they're sorry. I was looking at their Wikipedia page, and their
Yeah.
Wikipedia page is not great.
Yeah. No, Ixion released December 7th, 2022. Mechanicus was 2018. Yeah, this game is 6 years old.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. But yeah, as like a first project, this went really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for Mechanicus. So,
That's it for Mechanicus. But next week, we're going to get back into the Remedy-verse with the game that currently is acting as the concrete the Remedy-verse is built on. Or at the very least, it's the string that is tying a whole bunch of Remedy's games together. Next Thursday, we will be starting Control.
Yeah.
I'm only disappointed that the next 2 games aren't Alt and Delete.
I mean, we haven't had any other games in that specific setting. We've only had like Alan Wake.
I'm gonna throw out a limb, and I'm gonna say that Alan Wake 2 also counts as a Control sequel, for how much Control is involved in Alan Wake 2.
I don't know about the main stuff, but definitely the DLC.
Just the main stuff of the game.
Huh? Wow.
But yeah, so we'll get to that. And we'll probably be with that for a decent amount of time. There's 2 pieces of DLC for it, one that's built into the main game itself, and one that's tacked onto the end afterwards. So yeah.
Yep. So yeah, join us next week on Thursday when we start Control. And join us on Sunday for more SD Gundam G
We
General.
ain't doing Sunday, remember. The Dawn Trails.
Join us on Sunday for absolutely nothing. Join us several
Go on and play
Sundays
the
from now.
award-winning MMO, Final Fantasy XIV, now with a free trial that takes you up through, what is it?
Stormblood.
Stormblood expansion? Yeah, it takes you up to Stormblood expansion. And perhaps join us back on Monday as we continue to try and get the favor of the Knights of the Digital World in Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Yep. But until then, I'm Vincent.
I've been accumulating Zenorite knowledge for ill-defined and narratively convenient purposes.
I've been Shiv.
I've been Hunter Grain.
And I am the Lord Omnisaya or something. Certainly.
69%.
Blasphemy.
Nice.
I and my hastily tacked on venom cannon from a Tyrannid are shaking our fist at you.
Put him down.
Which one?
All I'm going to say is that our awakening percent is 69%. Nice.
Nice.
We almost got through the whole stream without somebody noticing that.
I noticed
You
earlier,
underestimated our power.
I'm like, I could make the joke, but nah.
But yeah, see you next time, everyone.
Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.
Yep.